Yeah, Deepak woke up and chose violence. He absolutely did. And I'm so glad, because I was really hoping someone was going to put together a compilation of these guys getting clapped, because this is the actual reason why they don't debate anymore. They met reality, okay? It's like when a conspiracy theorist finally meets reality. Did you ever see one of those videos about flat earthers? That one flat earther movie that was put together where they did everything possible. They had all of the money that they possibly could to do all of the scientific tests that they wanted to do to prove that the earth was flat. And then once they finally got to it, all of their tests fail, and they bought this like $18,000 like laser compass geometry bending machine to figure out if time bends around the earth's thick luscious curves. They like proved that the earth rotates around the sun, and then they were just scratching their head like, damn, fuck, dude, what happened? Reality happened, chief. I'm actually surprised Crowder and Shapiro did some debates. No, they did. Yeah, they did. They did at the beginning of their career. Well, nearing the beginning of their career. But as they like got older and wiser, they realized that debates are only bad for them, right? You build up your entire political ideology upon lies, and then you only talk to the most like uneducated people about it, because those are the only people that you can slip your ideology by. That's why those people are there. They're woefully uneducated, and that's the point. That's why they're there, right? So why would you debate someone when you could only lose? That the only way that that a debate goes with someone who's on their stature, like politically, someone who does politics as like an actual job and listens to this stuff in the same capacity you do. The only way that you'd come out of that situation is to not go into the situation at all. You can't debate them. You just lose. But anyways,
identitarianism is one of the biggest things that I have a problem with due to my family history being, I know it's kind of a meme, but mixed. And this comes from when we look at affirmative action.
But Tim, isn't that identity politics? You're saying your view on this is informed. You're against identity politics as informed by your identity.
Yeah,
I love this thinking face. just deer in headlights. He's like, fuck. He's like, oh. He sees it. He's seeing more clear than this man has ever seen before. He could take the glasses off, okay? That question by David Pakman just fixed this man's eyesight, okay? David just walking around. He's Jewish, but he's walking around healing people like Jesus with his freaking comments. Holy shit. Look at him.
Yeah, it is what it is. The ACLU, when they supported affirmative action at Harvard, which lumps all Asians, Indian, Chinese, Laotians into one category, and I find that offensive as an Asian person. And so when I come out and say—
But Tim, that's an identity to say. You should be able to argue whether it's offensive or not offensive, right or not right, without saying because you are part Asian. You find like that's identity politics, which you claim to be against.
No, I agree. And I think the clarification that I think what we're discovering here is that it's not so much the core idea. I agree. And I think the clarification
this is such a good David Pakman has the best faces. It's just I love this debate so much. Tim Pool is Asian. Yeah, he's like mixed Asian, if I remember correctly. I forget what country it is, but it's like Southeast Asian. Yeah.
And I think what we're discovering here is that it's not so much the core idea of identity politics, it's the application of in ways that either is reductive or authoritarian.
Everything you're building here right now, right? Do you want the government to tell you how to do all these things and all the regulations that you got to have your electric thing this far from this and like all
the regulations like that for construction are important though. You do have to make sure that people don't do stupid shit.
But
make sure you don't have a power lines near a water line. There's a lot of.
But I would put most of that on the builders though. They want to build things that are good. Now I get it.
Oh, that's not true. Listen, people are going to build corners all the time. Like you have to have regulations when it comes to construction methods, or people are going to get fucked.
They cut corners when there are regulations anyway.
They do. They would cut a lot more if there weren't regulations.
I'm not totally.
You go to third world countries and look at construction methods. They're fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why schools collapse on kids in foreign countries sometimes. Like,
also, just so you know, speaking of like buildings collapsing on people, in Miami, like a building just literally collapsed under a sinkhole because in Florida they can easily skirt past some building regulations sometimes when it comes to the corrupt politicians. Oof, look at that. What is it? What is it right now? I think it's 4 people dead and 150 people missing. This whole like section of the apartments just collapsed into the ground. So this is what happens when you don't uphold building regulations, okay? But Tim Pool would look at this and be like, this is why we need more Yelp and to get rid of building regulations, all right? Which is, you know, definitely a take a human being could have. I didn't actually know that. To get smacked down by Joe Rogan in here, all right? Joe Rogan himself, all right? He may have even been high in this part of the interview, all right? And he was still able to just easily swat away Dave Rubin's shitty points. It's incredible.
There's a lot of,
but I would put most of that on the builders, though. They want to build things that are good. Now I get it.
That's not true.
It's like a child's version of the world. See, they really want to build things that are good, because when they build things that are good, people will be like, "Wow, what a great house!" And they'd recommend to their friend to go buy another house, and it'd be so great. 10 years down the line, that they'll definitely still be really accountable, because we have Yelp. Ever heard of the App Store, Joe Rogan? Ever heard of the App Store?
Well, I'm not telling you that I'm against all regulation, period. That's where I said intellectually I like that argument, because you could make it. I think you can make a very.
Why? You must not have much intellect. Intellectually, thinking as an intellectual, I'm so big brain as my intellectual gray matter is literally pulsing in my head, pulsing right now. All right. I can feel it's just growing neurons that fast that you could watch it grow. I'm just so big brain and so smart. I like this argument. Why?
A sound argument that competition would force people to do better work. Like if you're a plumber, you have a vested interest in doing the best plumbing job you can so that people will rate you on Yelp so that you will get more work. You don't have
or you're able to skirt the line far enough to where your work is shoddy and sometimes failing, but people don't have the correct recourse to actually hold you accountable, because sometimes just saying bad things about someone isn't possible to really hold them accountable.
Vested interest in cutting corners. Now you might, right? You're going to push it as much as you can to save as much time and energy and money as you can.
Yeah, we don't like that. That's bad. That's a bad thing to do. Because if you do that, but then 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, your work just completely destroys that home. That's not you being good. That's you being able to skirt responsibility long enough for you to get away from being culpable.
But once you go over that edge, yeah, you don't want to be known as the guy that you tightened something too much so that you flooded the house, or when you're building a house.
You're thinking logically, though. When people fuck things up and short things and do things terrible, they're not thinking logically.
But I don't think it's the government. I don't think it's the government that they're like, the government gave me this regulation, so that's why I'm going to do it right.
Well, if they didn't have any regulations, there'd be no incentive whatsoever to do it right.
No, there would be an incentive.
If they knew there were no inspectors, no one was going to check their stuff and make sure that their stuff was up to code. Listen, man, I was in construction my whole life. My dad was an architect. Yeah. I've been in construction since I was a little kid. You fucking need regulations. These guys, a lot of people that are in construction, they'll do whatever the fuck they can to make money, and it's not good for the people that have the house, because they might have that house for 5-10 years before that problem manifests itself.
Me that you bashed Hillary. Now you're trying to back off a little bit. Are you saying that Trump, an unknown quantity, is more dangerous than a known crook?
So first of all, Dinesh, you keep calling her a crook, but you just got out of jail.
Oh my gosh. What shoes she got on in her casket. Holy crap. Cenk, no. He turned it to, my man turned it to 100.
Let's give Dinesh a second. Why don't you tell us?
I agree.
So this is an important point.
I agree.
Give us a second. So
I agree.
Just explain to us what exactly happened with that.
I just want to live on my land and be completely self-sufficient and not pay your taxes. After 3 years, the town would come, kick you off of your property, and seize your land.
How would you know it's your land? How would you prove that it's your land?
Well, in theory, you would have a property deed, because that's what happens when you buy property.
Who would issue the property deed?
You get a deed. Well, right now, there are governments that issue those things. And what I'm saying is...
Wait, who would be issuing them? God? Who would be issuing them? Ram, the seventh avatar of Vishnu? Who's going to be handing down the deeds? Unless you write something on the back of in charcoal on the back of like an oak leaf. What are you talking about? You have to find the plot of land you want and shit in all four corners. And once you do that, it's going to create a spirit bond between you and the land that cannot be taken from you. And that's where the deed comes from, okay? Yeah, Sam's debates against libertarians is honestly some of the best political content online.
We're talking about the current paradigm of how could you own land? And there are things right now that exist. When you go buy land, you get a deed for the land.
Right.
if you're talking about what would happen in a free society, then there would be competing agencies probably that would issue such deeds.
Oh my gosh, he wants to live in corpo land. Competing agencies though? What if two agencies give you the same deed to the same land? Or there's like an overlap between land? What's gonna deal with that?
You're asking me to centrally plan liberty, and that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in,
Wait a
Sam,
second, I want to hear about that other paradigm.
Right. Hold on, Sam. Hold on. Let me finish my thought, and if you keep trying to piss me off, I will disconnect from the call.
Hold on, Sam. My man's voice is cracking. Why is he so angry? I've never... He's trying so hard, dude. When these conservatives, when they start, it's incredible to me. I've never seen like people who claim to be such like pillars of masculinity get so angry and like run away from like debates if you say like the littlest thing. I'm telling you, I like insinuated that this one conservative lied to me, and instead of like talking to me, what he did was he just started screeching and then he left. And this man apparently is like a grown-ass adult with a wife and everything, and he just started screeching. We couldn't even talk. Like, you'll talk to these conservatives and these are the biggest snowflakes. You can insult, like, I don't remember like a lefty being insulted by like a conservative in one of these debates and flying off the handle the same way conservatives do. They will literally shit themselves like little toddlers. Like, so if Sam started laughing here, he just fly off the handle, maybe even throw his phone, shit himself in his like lazy boy. I don't know. He's just like, and then leave the call and he'd just be so mad. So you have to like handle these people with kid gloves. Remember that debate that we had with Rob Noor? How like even his fellow conservative Aftershock was like, bro, you gotta calm down for a second. We can't talk. He's like, no, let me go on my 30-minute monologue or else I'm not talking. I'll sit here for 2 hours. I promise you, I'll do it. Like, okay, buddy. All right.
So you're asking me to centrally plan liberty.
Baby.
I'm not interested in centrally planning liberty. I'm interested in promoting the idea of human freedom.
Okay, so wait a second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I'm just trying to figure out.
I think you absolutely did mean to upset me.
See, his feelings
I think
are
you
hurt.
absolutely do want to try to push me into a corner to where you can say, see, you don't have the answers of how freedom works.
He's so
Damn
offended.
it, Sam. Nobody has all the answers on how freedom works. That's why freedom is so important. Because people should have the right to make decisions that other people might not agree with. That's why I support freedom. That's why I love freedom.
Well, Daryl,
because I'm
so
smart
mad.
enough to know that I don't know how to run your life.
And I think the Democrats,
The most offended man in the world.
I don't think they tried to flip the result in 2016 for the most part. There was a whole lot of the Hillary can still win stuff. And
Hillary conceded the next day.
But
it's absolutely not even remotely similar.
It's remotely similar. I would say it's
maybe
not,
like
it's
the
not
way
same
that
thing.
Antarctica is remotely close to like Pluto.
Do you see the videos of celebrities saying the Electoral College must vote for Hillary Clinton?
Do you think there's a difference?
Well, I'm sorry,
between,
they didn't say that. They
do you
said,
think there's a difference between celebrities saying something and the president of the United States trying to undermine the election? That's why I'm saying these aren't remotely similar. Yes, undermine.
See, that's framing.
Well, it's.
See, your reality, it's framing. This is Tim Pool coming to grips with the meme reality has a left-wing bias, when he's like, that's leftist framing. No, you can't do that. You're framing this in a leftist framework. Sorry, buddy. That's reality's framework.
When you say, so in
Legally
2016, Trump said millions of illegals voted. He started that with no evidence. That's undermining the integrity of our election. And then in 2020, he's saying that there was widespread election fraud that literally no agency, no other credible person has backed up, save for the melting head of Giuliani. Like, no one else is backing up on this. His own DHS turned on him on this with his own appointee. His own attorney general, the sword and shield
What did he say?
Barr, came out and said that as of right now, there is no evidence of widespread election fraud.
If you look at the Second Amendment doesn't get...
Oh, what a good debate. Oh my goodness, what a good debate. The Ben Shapiro x David Pakman crossover episode was so good. This, if you've ever wondered, all right, what would Ben Shapiro look like in an actual argument with not a college student, where he's not controlling the mic, where he can't really just run, with someone who's also politically educated? Not only with that debate that he had with that one BBC conservative who was like, Ben Shapiro, you say that political infighting is bad. Look at your entire political career. And Ben Shapiro was like, no, I can't believe you said something like this. I have to go. I can't even be inside of you. Like, okay, you can watch this debate. But honestly, I like this debate way more because Ben didn't get as angry he just was floundering. He was floundering in this debate. It was hilarious. If you want to see like Ben Shapiro get his ass clapped, all right, but still have it safe for work enough so you can listen to it in your cubicle without getting sent to HR, this is it right here.
Guarantee a right to own a warship, right? It doesn't guarantee your right to own a cannon. Even back.
But hold on a second. One of the main tenets of those who are constitutionalists is that the Constitution only says what you can't do, and the Second Amendment doesn't say you can't own a warship.
No, correct. No, the Second Amendment. No, that is true. The Second Amendment
They're
doesn't
negative,
say that.
right? So in other words, it's not actually, you're wrong on that.
It's a very simple argument from my point of view, and that is that people, if they have the right to bear arms in order to prevent tyranny, then that goes for arms to prevent. That goes to the ultimate limit of that.
He's thinking. So this is how you can tell that he's thinking hard. Okay, Pakman actually flustered him in this debate so bad that the big bad, like a new, like a cool kids philosopher, Ben Shapiro, was actually sitting there stumbling over his words, trying to think of something that Pakman couldn't easily just swat away again. As someone who stutters a lot, it's funny watching him stutter. Yeah, it is. Like, look at him go. He's usually so sure of himself. Look at him. My man is actually distressed.
That goes for arms to prevent. That goes to
that goes to the arms that they go to. Okay.
The ultimate limit of that is the arms necessary to prevent. Basically, you can own any arm that is necessary, not to prevent tyranny.
Well, this is.
Wait, did he even have like a? Did he even get an argument out yet? I'm genuinely curious. We've been watching him talk for like 10 seconds, and I'm not sure if he's made it a thought. He's just sitting there stuttering and spinning in circles. His brain. Yeah, 10 seconds for a half a sentence. I don't. David Pakman, my man is freaking jab locking Ben Shapiro. He freaking jab locked Ben Shapiro in this debate. Look at him. He's trying so hard.
That goes to the ultimate limit of that is the arms necessary to prevent. Basically, you can own any arm that is necessary, not to prevent tyranny.
Well, this.
That sounded like one of those memes of like I don't know, like an 8-year-old stuttering at the spelling bee, you know? That's all, folks. Okay.
This is good because in Waco, Texas, the government used tanks. Isn't it then reasonable to say people need tanks because they were used in Waco, Texas?
Because this is the balance that we draw, right? And this is true for all legislation.
It's totally subjective, though, Ben.
Not totally subjective. The fact is that if you disarm a population of rifles, there is no chance that there could be a popular resistance to tyranny. Period.
And if you only give them rifles and the tanks roll out, the rifles are useless.
Glad to know you guys against the death penalty.
It's just so good. This epic. This is like your favorite cum shot compilation. Okay, just so you know, this is so good. This is great. All right, I'm saving this on my tabs. Instead, maybe this will get me through NoFap. Okay, instead of watching porn, I'll just like put this in on my home bar, on my bookmarks home bar, and I'm just gonna watch this whenever I feel like jerking off instead. And this will do way more for me, actually, way more. It's so cathartic.
I just want to say that I'm so pro-life.
He looks like emo Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. So good. Your what compilation? What are you talking about? Yeah, we finally found a replacement for N hentai on the bookmarks bar.
I'm against the death penalty. I love the death penalty. I'm not. So you're not pro-life. So you're not pro-life. So you're not pro-life. I love the death. So you're not pro-life.
Holy fucking shit. It's psychopath energy. I love the death penalty. I love the death penalty. I kill him.
No, I'm pro-life. No, but I think
I love to kill people. I'm pro-life. Kill them. I'm pro-life. Okay.
I'm pro-life and I'm also pro-due process, which unfortunately one political party in this country has abandoned. So then you're against Guantanamo Bay. Let's just cut through talking points because, if you're due process, you're against Gitmo. Guys, if you're for due process, you're against Guantanamo Bay. No, I'm for due process for American citizens.
Oh my gosh, I'm pro-life. I just love due process, and we should process them, kill them. Oh, if you love due process, then you don't like Guantanamo Bay. No, I love Guantanamo Bay for the foreigners. Holy shit. I I wasn't actually expecting him to like take the bite there. I remember this, but I wasn't expecting. That's Michael Knowles. Woo! I thought that was just like the dunkening of some like shitty right winger that we would never hear about again. No, that guy. Whoo! My gosh. I knew Knowles was a bad guy, but I didn't think he was this bad. All right. He's Billie Eilish bad guy.
Not due process. All right, guys, I'm going to step in here. I'm going to see the convention protections themselves. I'm going to step in here. This is going to be easy if he keeps walking right into the trap like that.
But another thing that we just wrote about, and again, people get mad with the weed issue. Well, no, traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that, because that's nonsense.
No, Steven Crowder's greatest nemesis, Google. No, anything but Joe, you can't do it to him. You can't do it. This is his kryptonite, okay? That's his poison. That's his poison. Joe, there's a reason why Steven Crowder takes private planes, okay? Because if someone turns off their airplane mode and turns on Google, just him being in the radius of Google opening will just start to melt his flesh. He's fucking allergic. Someone opens up Google around him and he's got to like freaking he's just got to start dunking his EpiPens. Anything but that. Open that shit in Google. I was about to open that in Google too. Here, producer, do it for me.
Okay, but there have been tests where they showed people
But that would go back to what he said and what you said.
But there have been tests.
That's
nonsense.
No, okay, but there have ganja saturation dreadlocks. I don't know how to pronounce that. Ganja saturated dreadlocks. Soap. Firstly, go find some. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Oh my gosh. Go wash your dreads. Nice, thank you. What site was this from? That's his own website? They pulled up his own website. This is louderwithcrowder.com. That's why this was slightly racist. Oh, I see.
Have been tests where they showed people
But that
drunk,
would go back to what he said and what you said.
But there have been tests where they've shown people drunk versus on marijuana, and the people on marijuana drove far better.
Okay.
That's true.
So this is also anecdotal.
No,
but
these are tests.
It goes back to your point, right? Let's say
this study is anecdotal. What is,
let's say someone has alcohol in
Are
their
these
system.
tests?
I haven't read your test.
Okay, so why are you arguing against them?
No, I'm saying I agreed with your point earlier.
So why are you saying they're anecdotal?
Well, it is anecdotal if you're saying some people drive better on marijuana
No,
than
I'm not
alcohol.
saying that. I've said there have been tests where they've shown that people drive better on marijuana than alcohol. That's not anecdotal.
My point is, if you
no,
want
you're
to
looking, you're looking to be really good at this argument here.
No, I'm
You
not.
need to settle down.
You said you wouldn't pile on, and you got two people.
I'm not piling down. He's not talking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
he's not talking. He brought something up.
Oh no, he's crying. You're 2v1ing me, and you have to stop. You're being really mean. You said you wouldn't pile on me. I'm feeling really threatened right now.
When someone comes on the show, Jared cannot interject.
Congratulations, you're not on the show. And all he did was pull up some fucking
two
information.
People bringing up information, me without a laptop.
No, he brought it up. I talked about it. He didn't even talk about it.
You said, what would be the one thing that you've changed your mind on?
Is there a problem when two people are...
Wait. Are we dropping more frames? Here, 1 second.
Correct and you're incorrect? Does that bother you?
I don't agree that you're correct.
You're right. Nebraska Steve. The old days of Nebraska Steve. Man. That was a time.
You said, what would be the one thing that you changed your mind on?
Is there a problem when two people are correct and you're incorrect? Does that bother you?
I don't agree that you're correct.
What are you talking about? You just pulled up some statistics that show that Colorado has less traffic fatalities
no, I didn't.
since
I didn't
2000.
pull up any statistics.
No, he did.
You
saw
just said
them.
you.
It's utilitarian.
Wait, I kind of want to go back to that because can you imagine how upset Steven Crowder was in that? Because he can't get mad. He can't get mad at Joe Rogan. He can't talk to Joe Rogan the same way he can talk to like people who, who are like left wing generally or have like other spaces than him. He can't do that because he'd lose his opportunity to go on Joe Rogan again, which he needs. He needs it. So he has to like kiss his feet.
Utilitarianism versus deontologism, that you're quantifying versus I'm not. You see what I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying your philosophical standard is the minimization of harm, and mine is more about the individual is the small. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I'm curious about the second part of that. You said, you know what I mean? Because I really don't.
Oh,
Mine
so
is about minimizing harm.
The two philosophies
about feeling
violating the ethics of an individual is violating ethics regardless, and yours is minimization of harm is better. So utilitarian versus deontological. From my standpoint, committing one unethical act is a violation of principle and ethics that can't be crossed. But I will admit, there's not like a hard line.
I think that is silly, to be honest with you.
I mean, I respect you, but they're very strong philosophical positions held by most people.
I believe that less suffering is better, and that I am willing to.
I will tell you something you won't like to hear, though.
So here's the thing: Sam, the thing is, this is such a ridiculous position to take that you can't do a single thing that has any morally bad outcome that you would say, because, or else that would be completely morally, that'd be just completely morally against your, but that's just be completely against your moral principles. Tim Pool, no one believes this. Tim Pool doesn't even believe this, because he'll talk all the time about how, oh, I don't agree with Trump on these things, and oh, he would do that thing bad that would be against his moral, like, compass. But he's like, but you look at the left, right? He does this, so he doesn't believe that. No one really believes this, because that's a really stupid idea to hold. So I'm honestly thinking that he's just saying this to get one over on Sam.
I'm willing to sully myself if that's the outcome.
But I'll tell you something you're not going to want to hear, and I admit it's I'll call it dickish. Utilitarianism is typically the villain in most movies.
I don't care.
What a good meme. It's good to see this one again. Like, old and reliable. Ooh. Oh, silly Mr. Sam Cedar. It seems you've walked right into my trap. You may not want to hear this, but sir, your political ideology is typically the typically the villain in Marvel movies. You're basically Thanos. I'm sorry. Debate is over.
So Thanos willing to reduce the suffering by killing, hundreds of trillions versus the, thousands of trillions, which would be living better off.
There was a testimony before Congress from LA communities where black witnesses were going in saying, my kid applied to the local McDonald's, they wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed. There was a testimony before Congress from LA communities where black witnesses were going in saying, my kid applied to the local McDonald's, they wouldn't hire him because he didn't speak Spanish. It is mostly black communities that are being overwhelmed with illegal immigrants, and to be mocking them and saying they're afraid of Spanish people, I think is very dismissive and insulting.
Well, here's what happens in this hold on. You like the free market, right? You love the free market. I love the free market as well, as long as you don't have, let me finish my point.
Keep going.
Okay. In a free market, of course, there will be competition for certain jobs, right? And so the most skilled worker is likely to get that position. Being bilingual is a skill. You're able to communicate. And I get it. If you're not bilingual, it makes you uncomfortable. You're not as competitive. But guess what? We live in a country where you have all the resources at your fingertips. You can learn a language for free online.
That's true. Go pick up Duolingo. Habla español. Señorita, go ahead. You can do it. That's all you have to do. Why can't conservatives pull themselves up by their dang bootstraps, all right? And start speaking Spanish? Go ahead. You want to be more competitive in southern Texas and Arizona, in New Mexico, in Southern California, all right? In some parts of Florida, if you want to be competitive, learn how to speak Spanish. Sorry. Well, I really hate this horrible market manipulation that conservatives are trying to do, all right? The free market knows best.
And so, enough with this victimhood, because I feel like there's a lot of victimhood coming from you right now, right? If you want to compete for these jobs, go out there and learn. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Learn a new language. There's nothing wrong with knowledge.
Get her ass. She's so oh my gosh. Look at her. This is not just like the face of someone who's upset that their point got refuted. This is the face of someone who is actually physically disgusted that Anna even like proposed to her to learn a different language. Look at her. Look at the anguish. She almost threw up in her mouth thinking about all these faces up here. Incredible. She almost threw up in her mouth thinking about learning Spanish. Hola, Senior Shark. Hola, Senior Bones. Hola. I don't know any like other greetings in that dunk was muy bien. Mau bien.
But none of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left. So what you're seeing here is a political movement and a religious movement, and it's fulfilling religious and political goals of the left, but it isn't doing very much for science.
What the fuck is happening? Where did he get that? Is he talking to a scientist right now? I really hope. Has Michael Knowles ever spoken to a scientist? I'm genuinely curious. Has he ever inquired anything from a scientist ever in his entire life? Let me block you. Mao Bean.
Chris, you had a visceral reaction to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're a grown man and you're attacking a child. Shame on you. She's trying to do what you think is right. And by the way, now relax, skinny boy. I got this.
Holy crap, Michael Knowles just got called a twink live on air. I forgot about that one. Yikes. Calm down, twink, skinny boy. Toothpick looking ass. Fanboy head ass. Fuck you. Not skinny boy.
Okay, you're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some cool.
I'm not. I'm attacking the left for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown-up when you're talking about children. She's trying to save the planet because your president doesn't believe in climate change, and kids need to take to the streets to worry about their future. You are despicable for talking to her about her like that, and you should apologize on national television right now.
I think the international left and her parents who are exploiting a girl with many mental illnesses.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love how now conservatives want to care about mental illness as they do everything possible to rip any amount of money they can from going to like mental health services. I love it.
Her mentally ill. Take it back now.
She is mentally ill. She is mentally ill. She has autism. She has obsessive compulsive disorder. She has selective mutism. She had depression.
Why does what's happening? Has he like memorized her mental health sheet? If this is even true? What are you talking? Why can't he just list these off like verbatim? Depression? Yellow, what are you? She's had depression. She had a cold. She got the measles. Like, okay. In 3rd grade, she stubbed her toe and had to go to the doctor for it because she fractured her ring toe. Why do you know that? What's wrong with you?
Despicable.
Her mother wrote about.
And that war was over in 1940.
I don't understand. Why does he have so many facts? He just stopped debating and then he just started to lift off her Wikipedia page. That's so weird. That's a really weird debate tactic. Maybe I should do that.
Civil War was over in 1865, and we are still at the effect of this underlying stuff that we move on from one generation to another.
But
so
do you think
when you apologize, sorry.
Well, do you think there's a little bit of a risk in sort of, I mean, a couple of times you're referencing the genocide of the Jews to slavery. Seems like a little bit of a slippery slope there, no?
Oh, first they call mass genocide and slavery bad, and now they're calling mass genocide and slavery bad. They're both the same things. Like those work camps were like slave camps, and then they killed them. What are you talking about? Just here in the States, they killed less slaves because they needed them to work more.
I don't even know how we can say that, actually, and I say that as a Jew. Have you read up much on slavery?
Oh, no. You activated my Ben Shapiro trap card. Oh, no, yeah, Marion Williamson had one, too. She got the reverse. All right, she got the reverse card, the reverse Uno card she had in her back pocket. She whipped it out for this. I'm Jewish, too. No, Ben's like, no. Or Dave likes, please.
Yeah. We're talking abject slavery, Dave. I mean, nobody's in a contest. Nobody has a monopoly on human suffering. This was abject slavery. And also, if you started slavery in 1619 and you had 2.5 years, 2.5 centuries, and then at the end, there were 4 to 5 million enslaved people, do you realize generation after generation how many millions of people we're talking about?
Right. Well, I'm not diminishing that, but you can also talk about the extermination of 6 million people and the amount of people that never lived because of that would be alive. Or your ancestors from Russia who were never given anything and came here.
Well, wait a minute. But the Germans had paid reparations. That's kind of my point. The fact that Germany paid reparations.
Oh, no, he forgot about that. He forgot about the whole like thing with Germany actually doing reparations. And didn't they get done finishing their reparations to Israel in 2009? 2009?
Germany's done full on mea culpa.
It seems like everyone's kind of veering to some version of open borders. That's somehow something kind of.
No,
so
you say
tell
you're a
me.
Democrat. Where do you get this?
Well, I don't consider.
You say I'm a Democrat.
No, I don't consider myself a Democrat anymore.
I
don't consider myself a Republican, but I'm definitely not a Democrat.
I have not heard one candidate.
Well, they won't say it, but the policies seem.
So, you don't say it, but you really. I mean, is that healthy, honorable debate? You say it if you believe it. I don't believe it. You can have healthy.
No, I take them at their word.
What has Trump done to make it easier for businesses to get going?
Oh no!
By cutting back on so many rules and regulations that the Democrat had established.
Like what's an example of such a rule?
I don't have anything in mind right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of the rules and regulations that was preventing small businesses from starting.
Yeah.
He definitely did things that were good. I have literally nothing in mind of what he has done, but he did good things. Yeah.
Taken away by the Great White Hope.
What would be? But so give me just. I know that there's dozens and dozens, but what's one such rule that was taken away that now makes it easier to start a business?
Nothing come to mind right now.
Is there anything that you can remember even seeing at any time?
Nothing come to mind at this time.
Wow.
I'm wondering if anything comes to Jesse's mind, if I'm going to be honest. Nothing comes to mind. Nope, nothing.
Wow. No. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, he woke him back up. He got him back on track. Jesse Lee Peterson I think he can only physically think about a couple of things. He can only physically think of like a couple of things, and once he like veers out of that, he's like, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore. I am completely lost. He just shuts down. All right, and then you have to get him back on track. You have to hit the reset button by saying amazing, and he's like, yes, amazing. I see.
Yeah.
Your book
time start a business.
Nothing come to mind right now.
Is there anything that you can remember even seeing at any time?
Nothing come to mind at this time.
Wow.
No.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your book is a criticism of how angry America is and how America has to do better.
The Andrew Neil debate. It's so good. Let's. Is this where Ben runs?
And I'm simply
I have an entire list on my website, sir. On my list, I have an entire website of dumb, bad things that I've said.
It's incredible because he'll go back on those dumb, bad things that he said all the time. It's almost like that list doesn't matter. Sir, I predicted every step that you were going to take by already putting all of the things that I think that you're going to say mean about me into a list where I say that I may or may not believe them anymore. I've already done the legwork.
Some of the things you've said that seem to me to help to stoke that anger. For example, you said Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
Well, as I say in an article entitled, here's a list of all the giant, bad, dumb things I've ever said.
Was that dumb?
Well, yes, that's a dumb tweet. And not only, but it is also important to mention that the next few tweets clarify that tweet is specifically referring to the Hamas leadership, which, by the way, a BBC...
It's dumb and bad, but as you can see, I'm clarifying it's not all Arabs. It's just these Arabs. Okay, sure, buddy. Okay. And then he goes on to, he's like, I don't defend that. And then instantly, this is the second afterwards, he goes on to defend it.
Yeah, I've seen is relatively reticent to condemn.
No, actually, it wasn't what you went on to do and say, you are correct about the slur on Arabs. It's not all Arabs that want to live in open sewage and blow things up. It's just Palestinians. You went on.
Oh my gosh, he didn't even say, oh no. He's like, oh, not all Arabs, just these really specific Arabs. And he's like, no, it's just Palestinians and not just Hamas. Actually just Palestinians, which is an interesting thing to tweet back.
It's just the ones who take sides against Israel in the Israel-Palestinian
Arab population is rotten to the core, you went on to say. Not Hamas, the Palestinian Arab population.
Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't care. I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you. You know, I'm not inclined to.
Such a meltdown. I've never heard of you. I don't care. Why are you here then? What do you? I know you probably haven't heard of a lot of important people, Ben, because you don't care. Do you even? Yeah. Do you know? This is like, do you know who my dad is? Type energy.
Continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer. So I think we're done here. I appreciate your time.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse.
And then he starts to, on air, he starts to take his microphone off. He's so mad.
Mr. Shapiro, we'll say goodbye.
We have to care about the environment. It was progress. And it's like, no, like we've been losing. America has been losing. And Donald Trump understood that in a way that I didn't. And
I
thought,
think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you...
No, not even a little bit. Like,
oh my gosh, what an awful demon. All right. I like to say that Caitlin Bennett comes off like a snake, like a literal actual snake, like a viper. Here, wait. Let me show you this, okay? And you can get it. Oh, come on. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. They have a, yeah, here it is. Not secure. This website's gonna seal all of my data. Like, look at this picture, okay? Look at this picture and tell me this bitch doesn't look like a fucking snake, okay? This is like the human picture of like an Animorphs. This is like the very first human picture of an Animorphs cover, you know? And then she turns into like a pit viper. Look at her freaking face, dude. Didn't she say Nazi shit? Yeah, her and her husband are both Nazis. It just kind of be that way. It just kind of be that way. But yeah, if this girl's a freaking snake, this chick's a ghoul. Yeah, Medusa looking ass. She looks like she's gonna fucking bite me. All right, like she looks like she's gonna bite me. Like I'm back in 8th grade and I just insulted Danganronpa. You know, I just walked past the girl who growls at people.
Not even a little bit?
No. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, okay. I'm not saying like we need to like, you know, trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change?
Well, I think the climate always changes, I guess is what I should say. Do I believe that this is like, you know, an issue that is being, that is global warming, which they've changed conveniently. They got rid of the word once scientists started disproving it. Now they only say climate change. No, I think that was just a way.
Well, no, they say both, but, you know, it's just more, they still say global warming. They still say climate change. They say both. They're just interchangeable. Just climate change is more like holistic because not everything is related to just warming. Like winters are bad too, but she wouldn't understand that. It's not like she's taken any time to understand many things in her life.
To extract dollars from Americans. I don't at all believe they had no actionable plan. It was great for Trump to get out of that deal. It was terrible.
Okay, but this is an incredibly complicated subject.
Right.
And if you would have to talk to a bunch of different scientists and see how they gather data and see what they understand about CO2 levels and what's the danger of them and what can combat it and what cannot. Have you done all this, or do you take this flippant opinion based on the party line?
This wouldn't be the hill I died on, right? But it's not about part. I just genuinely, I've read a ton about it, but I would not be able to come to you and say like, this is my strong opinion. But here's like the easiest way to say this, right? Okay. The fact that there is a disparity in the science community about whether or not it's real is enough to.
It's very little. Yep. Very little disparity. But most scientists, the vast majority, agree that human beings are negatively affecting climate change.
Yeah.
The vast majority.
Yeah, I just don't think so.
What I'm trying to talk about is the totality.
What a loser. So there's all of this in the entire breadth of the scientific community. Sure, there are like some people, but those people are extremely fringe and they don't really have any data to back them up. That's reputable. So there's no reason to believe this. Yeah. I don't think so. Like, okay, sure. Okay, Candace Owens.
Totality of evidence that he's mishandled this pandemic, and it's interesting to me that you were extremely unwilling to criticize him for that.
Because what's the alternative?
The alternative.
What would have happened in any other circumstance where we have no control group? What am I supposed to say? So, well, if
wait,
Trump
how many would have had to have died before you would criticize him?
I don't know.
Give me a number. Wait, so you could have let it.
I don't know. Maybe 100 billion.
$1 million?
So what you're telling me is that we have no idea what would have happened if Trump did anything else.
We don't ever.
That's
you're making a tautological statement. That's how the universe works. We don't ever know what would happen if other things.
What am I supposed to say when Fauci early on praised him, when governors early on praised him? Now they're critical of him in an election.
Wait. First of all, the praise of governors is irrelevant. Are governors health experts? Second of all, Fauci praised him a couple of times. He's also under a lot of political pressure to do what Trump says, or otherwise there's a very decent.
His hair is so damn messy here. I swear. Yeah, this is that Voosh guy, isn't it? It do be that Voosh guy. I swear I'll go into an interview with my hair looking even worse, and it's gonna be great. He always keeps his hair up, huh? People are always yelling at him to put his hair down. He doesn't care.
Chance of him getting canned. Fauci has made plenty of statements which Trump has later contradicted. Trump has been back and forth on the mask issue, going so far as to make fun of people for wearing masks. You claim to have like this
a disaffected sort of like anti-establishment view of all of this. But your channel is hyper partisan against the left, and then when anyone criticizes Trump, you'll either defend him harshly or you'll back up and say, well, they're all bad. You are taking the choice to defend Trump. You are the partisan here. You're not a distanced anti-authoritarian. You are standing with him, and you are saying, yes, I am anti-authoritarian, I am anti-establishment, but also we don't know if him lying to the American people was bad. It could have caused a panic.
Again, as a general rule, I want you, David Pakman, as a small business owner, which you are with employees, to pay the least amount of taxes that you can, so that you can hire more people, so that you can build a better studio, so that you can invest more in your operation and bring the goodness that is you and your operation out there.
Is this the guy that stole your idea, Shark? Yeah, that's the guy. That's him. That's the thief. That's the thief. I got another comment today that was like, you sound like Vosh. It's so weird. I've been getting less of them recently, but especially when I started, people were like, bro, you're like Vosh. Bro, you sound like Vosh. Bro, you talk like Vosh. Bro, Vosh. It was really weird. Zero heated gamer moments. Yeah, the thing is, finally, one of these streams have popped up. Like, I'm one of the only black people who do this sort of content on, like, you know, online or in like our area. So finally, I have the complete option. I'm black. I can have a heated gamer moment, and it's gonna be okay. All right, and it should be pretty all right if I have a heated gamer moment. But I just, like, I finally come in. Finally, a black person comes in, and he just doesn't have heated gamer moments. It's really fucked up, actually. I'm depriving you of so many N-word drops, casual and tactical N-word drops, and I just don't do it. That is something that I think is like really funny, that Vosh has said the N-word more times on stream than I have, and he said the hard R more times on stream than I have, which is, you know, that's something. Yet I've said the N-word on stream before. It's just like very long spans of timing apart from each other. White privilege in action. Yeah, I know, right?
I know this as a small businessman now. If I had been being taxed higher right now, I had massive capital costs to build this studio and do all this stuff. By the way, I pay 100% of my employees' health insurance, 100%. I also give, my director gets a cut of our YouTube rev. I do all the things. I try to put my beliefs into practice.
But that's the confusion for me, Dave, because those capital expenses are tax deductible. So if the tax rate goes up for you as an individual, if you've got pass-through income, or for the business tax rate, it doesn't matter what the business tax rate is if you want to spend money on capital, because you don't pay taxes on that. Actually, it encourages you to spend money on capital to have a higher tax rate.
So I actually don't do any of the work. Oops.
So I understand what that argument is, and I would argue at the same time as that, that having every one of us, however much you earn, it is your money.
Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. I had no idea this was going to happen.
Do you
Sam,
think
come on,
your audience cares that I only have 1 million subscribers and you have what, 6 or 7 million subscribers?
Let me answer. Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question?
Can I answer your
Sure,
question?
let me answer your question. My audience would say Sam who? Just like Joe Rogan.
Sam who? I only had like 20 articles written about me in like news websites and like really big papers. Oh, I was only like completely trending on Twitter after being bodied. Oh, my comment section was just completely people shitting all over me for the first time in a long time. Okay. Sam who? Yes, just like look at this face. This man's moving his head so damn fast. He's scared. He's terrified. Look at him right now. Oh my gosh. He's phasing into another dimension. He's so scared. Shaking his head so hard. Yeah, Sam who, just because all of my fans know exactly who every single college student that I debated was.
Audience and Ben Shapiro's and Dave Rubin. Now they all know who you are because you had to shoehorn yourself into another coward show.
College students, every day that you do that, change my mind. They don't know who those college students are.
This is another lie. This is another lie. Let me clarify, Sam.
What do you mean? What's the lie? You don't. Everyone knows who those college students are.
Let me clarify, Sam. To change my mind, everyone knows on the show, right?
Yes.
We've had
How
professors
did you know
on
I ended my show early last week, Stephen? If your audience doesn't even know me,
because you're an idiot
how
and
did you
half
know
of your
that?
staff
Do you
doesn't
watch
like
my
you.
show?
Let's debate.
Half of your staff doesn't like. What does that mean? I honestly, and also fan theory, I don't think anybody in the Crowder like building likes Steven Crowder. Okay, I think all of them are just scared that if they do something, he's just gonna like unload on them. He's gonna go freaking Dylan and Eric on them in that studio with that gun that he carries around. All right, so everybody has to everyone has to be walking on eggshells.
Don't hide behind the glasses. Don't say let's debate, Ethan. You've lost coward. Debate the issues. What does it matter who you debate, coward? All right, good. You guys are good. Thank you. Don't even take off the glasses.
I was right.
All right, yeah, you can run away.
You run away twice. Cold feet again.
Come on, Steven.
Wow. Wow, dude.
Absolute highlight reel of some of the best dunks in the last couple of years. That was amazing. That was so cathartic. That was so good. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, that the right doesn't debate. This is why. This is the whole reason why. They touted themselves as being like big debaters when there was no large lefty channel to really contend them. So they could build up the facade that the reason they're not talking to any like big lefties is because they've just debated them out of existence, and they're just so good and no one wants to talk, and they're like these sad little SJWs in the corner. Okay, they don't want to debate. And then as soon as they come over to debate, this is what happens. This is why you don't see them doing like these sorts of debates anymore. There's a big reason for it. And this is why when they try to do some of them and then they get pushed hard enough, their plan is to always just book it, just leave. Because their goal is not, their goal is severely threatened by people who know what they're talking about, because they'll realize that everyone will realize that they'll get their shit kicked in because they're awful and their political ideology is awful and based on lies. So that's why they don't do it anymore. It doesn't give them anything. They'll never get anything out of it, right? They're only in a position to lose. Once you get out of not being challenged as a conservative for long enough, you have to like break out of there, because if you debate too much, you hamper your growth, because people see that you're just like you're full of shit. Okay, you talk enough. But with these guys, they've like broken out of that, and they only have space to lose. They only have things to lose when it comes to these debates. So obviously they're not going to do them because they're going to get their shit rocked, like what always happens when they talk to people. And that's why they only talk to like college students or unprepared people or people walking to their English class, right? Or people walking out of the local Jamba Juice. That's the people that they debate. That's the big brain dialogue that they want to be in. Not someone of their like political like efficacy and media trainedness. Oh no, that's awful. Oh, they're all grifters. Oh, they're so bad. It's just lame. It's just stupid. It's lazy. And I'm glad that we finally got this. You know, I want to make sure I keep this one. Every time a conservative says that the left doesn't want to debate, I'll just send them that. Okay, I'll send them that. And now look at where we are. We've done the complete opposite. We've done the complete opposite that the conservatives did, where now they're all screeching about why we can't debate. The Daily Wire, after the Stephen Crowder Sam Cedar debate, released an article saying that we should never ever talk to debate me bro lefties. Okay, and so until we have that, and now we've done the exact same thing that they did. The only difference is we actually started debating them and then they lost. So sorry, Chieftain.